It's been an exciting process. I've really enjoyed the campaign. Throughout my trip around the county, I've talked about my vision for the office. And generally speaking, it's to make it the best prosecution unit in the state. And the way that I intend to do that is to take my experience from the 3 different prosecution offices that I've worked in, Middlesex County, Norfolk County, and the Attorney General's office. Take those best practices that I learned there, apply them to Norfolk County, and really with the aim towards making it the premier shop in the state. And I believe that I can do it. Some of the policies I've advanced during the campaign are not just approaches such as cracking down on recidivist drunk drivers or serial batterers, or trying to find a solution to the drug epidemic that we see in the South Shore, but are also structural too. I've talked about bringing community-based justice from Middlesex County to deal with juvenile offenders. I've talked about a cybercrime unit. And recently I put a press release out that had to do with performance statistics, more commonly known as city stat. And the idea there is, I call it DA stat, and try to implement a program where we measure our results, and from that try to encourage our staff to even more success and challenge them to better themselves. And I think throughout this campaign I've distinguished myself by bringing my ideas for the vision of the office and the future of the office. So that narrative that I've explained to people along the campaign trail I think is working. I think people are coming to my side.
The DA stats, the idea of how effective, efficient, appropriate the activity of the prosecutorial unit, if nothing else, is working, is one that we've looked at for a long time. Given the fact that there are so many variables in the adjudication of anything, how do you think it could be structured? Just for instance, what would be some of the subcategories?
Well, I'm not sure that it would work in district court because the pace is so quick and caseloads are constantly turning over. Many cases can be disposed of on short dates. So the idea is to try to manage the caseload, and I think it would be properly instituted on the Superior Court level. So what I would try to do in the method of city stat is to work with the managers and try to find out what they see as trends within their own shop or within their own jurisdiction. So I deal with domestic violence units, I deal with the victim witness advocates, with the white collar crime division, with the sexual assault unit, and try to find out how we do on cases from arraignment until disposition. On a Superior Court case, oftentimes what will happen is somebody's arrested and brought to the district court for arraignment. When they're arraigned in district court, oftentimes the district court doesn't have jurisdiction over the matter, and the case will be bound over. So until it's indicted in Superior Court, the case will exist in district court. And it's a source of frustration, I think, for the judiciary and for the line ADAs when there's a lapse in the period of time between the first arraignment and the indictment and the arraignment in Superior Court. So I think if we take a look at these cases that have sole jurisdiction in Superior Court, one measure that we can take is how long it takes us to get them into grand jury indicted and the case moving. Because that's in the best interest of judicial economy and also our victims of crime. Because they're obviously in an acute situation, they're looking for justice, they've been hurt or wronged. And the longer it takes for us to get the process moving, the harder it is for them. So I think that's one measure of time that we can properly go after.